Hey, I'm Allie Bradley with News Nation, and we're out here on a multi-agency targeted enforcement operation going after several Tren de Aragua members. It is a late night operation. All these guys have been rehearsing for days to make this operation go off without a hitch. So we'll see what we end up finding today.
Right where the light's at. Yeah, alright. Yeah.
PD is launching.
Yeah.
¿Dónde eres? ¿De Venezuela? Mira la cámara. Mira aquí.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Aquí, güey.
¿Qué? ¿Nombre completo?
Johnny Manuel Caicedo.
Johnny Manuel. ¿Qué fecha de nacimiento?
38 del 96.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Reina. ¿Tienes documentos para estar aquí en los Estados Unidos legalmente?
Estás ilegalmente aquí, ¿no?
Entré por la bolsa de...
¿Ah?
¿Tienes documentos?
¿Qué?
Le entregué.
¿No te entregaste? Sí. Como ahorita te vamos a mandar también para tu país. Ah,
I like Michael Jordan. You like Michael Jordan? Mr. Michael Jordan? Okay, I'm gonna move him this way. Ven acá. Acá. Seriously, you want to move the next guy this way with fucking Homeboy? I don't know Homeboy's name. It's operating out property. Like that. Not yet, stand by. Para los pies. No. Sorry, guys. Voy a revisar el link, ok. Dale ese mero atrás.
mucho miedo.
You're going out into what could potentially be a really dangerous situation. Tell me how you feel going into this operation with, gosh, it looks to be 300 federal agents and officers across the board.
Yeah, definitely at least 300, but those 300 are needed. And that definitely means that something is up, and that something that's up, it means a non-permissive environment. Anytime there's a non-permissive environment, Allie, the stress level goes up for everyone involved. We all want to come home at the end of shift, but we also are going to accomplish that mission. So merging those two together is very important, especially from a leadership perspective, and that's what I'm looking at right now.
What kind of danger are the guys and girls going into here? Is there a concern for safety going into this operation?
The individuals that we're going after, Tren de Aragua, one of the most violent gangs that the United States is plagued with right now. They traffic in arms, they traffic in humans, they have little regard for life. And anytime you've got that mix in a high concentration in one area, problems can arise. So we know there's weapons. There's been reports anyway of them taking over units in this apartment complex that we're going to hit via force with guns.
Now, Chief, you've been around the city, you've been going nonstop. What would you say to the people who are against your operations right now when you're going and doing something like this to keep the community safe? What would you say to those people who are saying, you know, calling you guys Gestapo, things like that as you're walking around? What would you say to them?
You know, I think the first thing I would say is, how about you live in the apartment next door to Tren de Aragua members that are trafficking in prostitution, guns, drugs, and taking advantage of American citizens in a violent way? Why don't you live next to them and then see how much of a Gestapo or a Nazi we are?
What's the end game here? What's the goal?
Well, the end game tonight, obviously, is to make that area a safe place. We're going to remove all illegal aliens, especially if it's Tren de Aragua, but any and all illegal aliens, and that's going to make this community a safer place. That's from the local level, the Chicago local officials. We've had reports that they even understand that this is a severe problem for the community. So we're going to make the community a safer place, and we're going to send a message to those violent gang members that there's a different gang in town. It's called the Good Guy Gang. The good guys. The good guys are here. We're the good guys.
So the governor saying that you guys aren't doing anything to make the community safer, what would you say in response to him?
You know, I don't think the governor has ever stepped foot near a Tren de Aragua member or MS-13 member or any other bad person or bad thing, so he probably wouldn't understand exactly what we're talking about. It might be way over his head. But don't worry, Governor Pritzker, we've got it covered from here, and this is just the beginning. Tonight's just the beginning, and we're going to roll on and on. We are going to turn and burn, Governor. We're going from this one to the next, to the next, to the next, until they quit or are all deported and go home. And as far as him, he can either get on board or watch from the sideline.
No fue como antes.
Esto bueno, están demasiado apretados.
You don't have that. Yeah, you want them in speed.
El no me puedo probar un poquito la respuesta.
No podemos.
Pero la toma demasiado apretada.
So this operation was one that took a lot of planning, coordinated effort amongst several agencies, huge show of force. How did the operation go as the chief here?
Allie, I think from the very beginning, this operation went well. They trained for this operation for several days, and because of that training and those rehearsals that they did, this operation went very smoothly. They went through that structure, which is a very large structure. You can see it's 5 stories. They went through that structure a lot quicker than I thought, and several apprehensions. It looks like we have a couple of potential targets that we briefed earlier today that we were after. Looks like we have a couple of potential targets, and if that is the case, and we'll let you know as soon as we get those facts and figures, if that's the case, then definitely a successful operation. Anytime you can get a violent trained Aragua gang member and their associates off the street, it makes Chicago a safer place.
Now, when you have people saying, you know, what you're doing is not helping the community, and then you see something like this, I asked you this earlier, before the operation, what would you say to them now, seeing what you've seen come out of this apartment complex?
Sure, I would say that those people don't know their community, or even worse, they don't care about their community. And what I will say is the U.S. Border Patrol, ICE, and our allied law enforcement partners, those partners that were here today, we do care about our community, and we make it our personal responsibility to make this community and our nation safe. That's our personal responsibility. These agents perhaps giving their lives, even if necessary.
Now, when it comes to the U.S. citizens, there were a couple U.S. citizens that were held during the operation while you guys were clearing that building. Explain kind of that process. I know we've seen it in the past when Secretary Noem was on the ground. There were 2 U.S. citizens that were temporarily as well. So what happened with those U.S. citizens, and what will happen with them?
Sure. Anytime we're clearing a building, especially during a high-risk operation, this was a high-risk operation. When we're clearing a building for the safety of the occupants in those buildings, we're going to clear the entire building, bring everyone out of that building, whether they're a United States citizen or an illegal alien. We generally don't determine alienage while we're in that building, clearing the building. It's too dangerous, so we'll bring them out and do it in a safe environment. It's safer for the United States citizens and safer for the illegal aliens, and most of all, safer for our officers.
So when someone's back there yelling, you're violating their rights, what do you say to them?
We're not violating their rights. We're making it safe for them so that they can live in a safe and secure neighborhood. And you know, there's no rights been violated today, just the saving of lives.
Anything else you want to add, Chief?
We're glad to be here. We're glad to be here in Chicago. This is South Chicago. You're going to see us some more here in South Chicago. We're going to be coming back here in all areas of Chicago. We're not going anywhere. You're going to see all the Border Patrol agents, all several hundred of us, as well as those allied law enforcement agencies. We're going to be taking it to those violent gang members and illegal aliens. And finally, Allie, CBP Home app. Time and again, we say use the CBP Home app. Use that, get your free ticket home, and you can still have a chance at those immigration documents. If we catch you, you'll never get a chance at those documents.
All right, Chief.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Congratulations on a successful operation.
Yes, ma'am.
No, this helicopter blowing me. They can at least park the helicopter. That's sick.